It's time, Lake Park, to drop everything for social emotional learning. Welcome to your DESEL Hour. Social emotional learning is practicing and developing 5 different skills we are going to call the SEL competencies. The first 2 competencies focus on you, and they are self-management, which includes identifying and managing thoughts and emotions, and self-awareness, or being aware of your beliefs, strengths, and challenges. The next 2 competencies focus on your relationships with other people, and they are relationship building with your peers or adults, and social awareness, which involves practicing things like empathy and recognition of others' needs. The 5th competency is responsible decision making, which involves practicing healthy choices and contributing to your community. There will be 1 DESEL hour per quarter this year, and each lesson will have activities and discussions that focus on these 5 competencies.
Hi again, seniors. It's Mrs. Petrovsky. Today's topic falls into the SEL competencies of relationship skills and responsible decision making. We're going to discuss community engagement and advocacy. As you prepare to leave Lake Park to begin your next chapter, this is an excellent time for you to reflect on how you can integrate yourself into your future communities and be an agent of meaningful change. We're going to ask you to consider what you feel passionate about and think about how you can use your passion for good. Let's get started.
So, what is community? Take a minute and think about what community means to you. Defining community is not as straightforward as one might think. Community has been defined in many ways, and there's no single or correct definition. Community means different things to different people. Perhaps you thought of community as your geographic region, for example, your neighborhood or your town or city. Maybe you thought about your community as peers of the same age or ethnicity or gender. You might have thought of community as individuals with a shared interest, like playing soccer or sewing. You might even thought of community as just the wider public in general. All of these things are correct. At its core, community is a sense of belonging. It's important to note that communities will often come together to address a particular issue. For example, trying to prevent a school from closing. Similarly, communities will disband once that issue is addressed. For example, if they were able to prevent that school from closing. When communities come together to address an issue, this is what we call community engagement. Like community, there are many definitions of community engagement. For the purposes of this module, we will define community engagement according to the Tamarack Institute as the process of working collaboratively with and through groups of people affiliated by geographic proximity, special interest, or similar situations to address issues affecting the well-being of those involved. As I'm sure you can imagine, there are many benefits to participating in community engagement efforts. Community engagement empowers citizens to take responsibility for the things that are happening in their own community. It also encourages community members to address the needs that are directly relevant to their neighborhood or their community. When people participate in community engagement efforts, they're able to contribute to and enact change in their community rather than passively accepting the circumstances under which they live. Community engagement, not surprisingly, strengthens community spirit and levels of social inclusion and belonging of its members. When more voices are heard, higher quality solutions to community issues are created, and there's a more efficient use of the resources. Lastly, community engagement efforts can inform both policy making at various levels of government and service planning.
Young people have helped drive social movements around the world. From protesting the established order to furthering new ideas, youth are often on the front lines of political and social transformations, hoping to make the world a better place. Reasons for youth participation in movements vary, Compared to adults, youth often have larger social networks, which can serve as conduits for the transmission of ideas and mobilization. Young people are also more inclined to be innovative in their use of media. They may adopt the latest technologies to help spread their message and mission. Also, youth may have more time and bandwidth than older generations, giving them a greater chance to take risks and fight the status quo. Altogether, reasons such as these make youth participation in social movements an incredibly powerful element.
A great way to build relationships in your community is by getting involved in issues facing your community that you care about. This video depicts macro-level community engagement. This is advocacy on a large scale, affecting entire communities, states, or even countries. This type of engagement means advocating for change in large systems that may seem beyond the reach of individuals. Getting involved at the macro level might mean petitioning local, state, or even federal governments for changes in policies or laws, or for funds to help communities. Organizing community-wide, statewide, or nationwide activist campaigns also fall under the macro level. In contrast, micro-level community engagement involves direct interaction with individuals to address individual problems. Common examples of micro-level work include directly helping people with an individual problem they are facing, or helping link an individual to a service that can assist them with that problem. Here's one example of a young person assisting individuals on a micro level by connecting them to a health service they are seeking.
Now, this is a great story. One of our nation's bright high schoolers is helping others book COVID-19 vaccines, despite the fact he himself doesn't even qualify for one just yet.
Chicago high school freshman Benjamin Kagan joins us now. Benjamin, thanks for joining us. We know you're very busy, probably busier than most of us, balancing school and this incredible project. So tell us, how did you get into this, booking appointments for those who qualify but might not be so good with the technology?
I was at my school's career week, and a reporter told us to turn on the news at 6 o'clock, and I did, and I heard about this incredible Facebook group called the Chicago Vaccine Hunters, and I joined that group, and I heard a lot of people, giving tips about when to check certain websites and where to go to get vaccines, and then I started giving people tips on what to do and where to go, and eventually people started messaging me on Facebook saying, Benjamin, can you help us? Benjamin, can you book these appointments for us? And I started doing that, and I was getting, tons of Facebook messages asking for help. So I created a Google form, which feeds into a spreadsheet. And now I've got a team of about 50 volunteers that are helping me work through this spreadsheet to help fulfill these appointments.
And I know you and your team have helped more than 250 people find appointments. What's their reaction like when you tell them that you've managed to book a slot? I know a lot of people are desperate to get this. They must be so happy to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, and it's a great feeling when someone comes to you and says, Benjamin, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. And it just feels great, and it's incredibly gratifying to be able to do something like this.
Benjamin, I mean, why do this? Why is it so important to you?
I mean, it's so important to me. I've been in online school for such a long time, and I want our country to get back to normal. And I understand that people need these vaccines to live. And in some cases, I could be saving someone's life by being able to give them a vaccine. And, in other cases, it's like, Benjamin, I've been quarantining in my home since March, since February. I need a vaccine so I can go see my daughter who is having her son next week. Like, I've gotten so many, heartbreaking stories like this, and then I can go in and solve it by getting them a vaccine. It just feels incredible.
Wow. Every one of them solves a problem for someone and makes their life better. So,
absolutely.
Benjamin,
and you are solving problems for so many. Benjamin, amazing.
Thank you so much, Benjamin.
Now our challenge to you is to really think critically about ways you may be able to get involved in your community and advocate for meaningful change in your adult life. It's difficult to know right now where life may take you, but this work is able to change and adapt right along with you as you learn and grow into adulthood. The important thing is to recognize the value community engagement will bring to your own personal life and to the lives of those around you. If you keep this in mind, your life is likely to be filled with more purpose and meaningful relationships than it would otherwise be. We'll leave you with one last question for you to consider. Have a great day, Lancers. Keep working hard and finish the semester strong.